This is Yerushalmi Berachos, Daf Nun Aleph, in the Art Scrolls Bahadar edition, corresponding to so shortly after the Mishnah on Lamed Hey Omen Aleph in the Vilna edition. So we're starting right at the top of Nun Aleph. Amrei B'Yagbar Achot Tane Tamon. We learned over there. We don't make you turn around any ruach except for the east. So the Charedim says, Tani Tamon Shonim Bebavel. This way, the proper gears is Charuchas Machzirin Chutz Mi Ruach Mizrachis. Pirusha. That means Kadim Matzasi the Rabbi Yosha Achron Zal. The reader Trani. V'zel Shali Yesh Midol Chaim Shi Mispal Chol Ruach Shalo Yodea. I'm sorry. Shalo Yodea Chaim K'Eretz Yisrael. When they didn't know exactly which way Eretz Yisrael was, they davened any direction. Chutz Mi Ruach Mizrachis. Except for the east, he would not daven that way. Also ruach, because the minim, the heretics, usually meaning the Christians, but I'm not sure the Christians have a specific direction to which they pray. It's daven to that tzayik Moshe's mavur perak lo yachbar. So whoever the minim in question are, they were daven towards that direction. Therefore, if you don't know which way, if you know Yerushalmi is in the east, so you daven to the east. Obviously, we daven towards the Mizrach if we're in many parts of Chutz La'aretz, but even Eretz Yisrael. But if you don't know which way to daven, he says you don't daven towards the east. That we don't allow, that we make you don't daven in that direction. Okay. Says Gemara Rabbi Yossi Bar Yevu Mitchila Achrei Melechal Hashem. And at the beginning, they would daven with their back towards Heichal Hashem. Upneim Kedma, and they were davened forward facing the east. And Mishtachim came Hashem should bow down towards the east. So, if not for the Charedim, that would seem that this is the reason why you don't daven the east, not because of some heretics, or maybe these are the heretics in question. Or maybe these are talking about during Bais Rishon. During Bais Rishon, they were down with the backs towards Heichal Hashem, which is in the west, and they would daven towards the east. So therefore, you shouldn't daven towards the east because these people that are there, Zara, who were davening towards the east, towards the sun. Tani Suma, Mishen Yichol Chametz Ruchos. Somebody is blind or somebody doesn't know what direction is which. They direct their prayers on high. Shlemar says, Yitzpalu El Hashem. You don't know which way to turn. Go turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Bahamdim is spelling b'chutz la'aretz, and please make clap Eretz Yisrael. Somebody's standing there b'chutz la'aretz, they turn towards Yisrael. Matam, a pasuk teaches us this: Yispalu echad derech hatzam. Asher nesat lo b'slam. They have to die. It's supposed to die through the land of Israel. Bahamdim is spelling Eretz Yisrael. Those are down in Eretz Yisrael. B'chim is making clap Yerushalayim. They turn faces to Yerushalayim. Matam, why? Yispalu where we learn. Yispalu echad derech ha'ir asher b'chaytabah. Down through the city which HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose. Bahamdim is spelling Yerushalayim. B'chim pnei clap Eretz. They turn towards Bais Shneimar. V'Bais Hashem and Yisrael Shmecha. Continuation of that, those psukim over there, that you daven towards the house which was built l'shem Hashem. Ha'omdim b'b'slam b'arabais ofchim neim klapi beis kodesh kodshim. If they're saying arabais, they turn towards the kodesh kodashim. Ma'atam, what pasuk teaches us is mitzvah makam hazeh v'atat yishma machon shivcha shamayim v'shamata v'salachta. So Mechon Shivtecha Kaviyachol is the place where Kodesh Baruch Hu sitting. Obviously, the Shechina is most intense. Is the Kodesh Kodashim, so you dive towards the Kodesh Kodashim. So people standing in the south, north face south. On the Dharma, those standing south, but some they face north. On the Mizrah, those standing east, Mara they face west. Mara, those standing west, Mizrah they face east. Nimtzu Kol Yisrael Mispali Makam Echad. So Am Yisrael is all diving in one place. Although the Stevens it says, my house is house prayer for all nations, and not just for all nations means from all directions. In this case, whichever nation is davening, presumably even non-Jews that are davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they should daven through Eretz Yisrael, through Yerushalayim, because basically Chol Amim. Amar Shimon Levi, hu eichol, that is the heichal, lifnai v'lifnim, which is also called lifnai v'lifnim. And the name obviously is the Kodesh Kodashim. Inside the inside. Hechal shekol haponim below. And this we dash in the term lifnai v'lifnim means that all faces face towards the Heichal to face towards the Kodesh Kodashim, and the tefillos go up through there to Shamayim. And the way that it says here actually in the Torah, or but in Malachim Al Vav it says Varboim Bamoya Bais Hu Heichal Lifnoi. So Heichal Lifnoi, we're darshaning Hu Heichal Lifnoi. This is, I guess, I should have parsed it differently before. Hu Heichal Lifnoi, comma Lifnim. Heichal, so it's not Heichal Lifnai v'Lifnim, even though we use that lashon. It's Heichal Lifnai, Lifanim. Heichal shall call Panim Bo, the Heichal towards all which all faces direct themselves. Akadum Mivin also about the basement that exists. Because I don't know even when it's destroyed. Amravun, but Nuila Talpios. It's built up to a hill of glory. So tell it's a hill. Shakopios mispalim of love. It's a hill towards which all the mouths are turned, and the emphasis here is the Rash Cirilio says is that even when it's a tell is an archaeological mound where cities have been destroyed and buried. So even when it's a tell, it's tell papios. All the mouths should turn towards there. Bivracha b'kriyas shema with tefillah. We mentioned in the rebuilding Yerushalayim, in bracha, in kriyas shema and tefillah. Bivracha bani Yerushalayim. That's the Beres HaMazon. B'tefillah elokei David ubonei Yerushalayim. We don't have that language in our tefillah, but obviously we have at Samach David and Bonei Yerushalayim as the two separate brachos which we have. B'kriyas shema poreis sukkah shalom aleinu kamo yisrael ba'al Yerushalayim. So the focus, obviously, Yerushalayim is the focus of our tefillos in Birkas HaMazon, in the Shemona Esrei, and in Birkas Kriyas Shema. One pasuk says, "I will go and I return to my place." Another pasuk says, "Not that I'm going to go back, but you and evilly be sham kol ayamim." Right, my eyes and my heart will be there all the days. So part of Lamala, his face on high, the Einav Aliba Lamata is, in other words, you put your face up and your eyes look down together with your heart. And Moshe says, okay, it's part of Klivyochel Lamala, he goes Einav Aliba Lamata Lachzir Lebinyana. This is an interesting interpretation. I don't know if we have. There's a better one. Let's see if Ross gives one. So the way he explains it, which actually adds, in other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always in the base Mikdash Shamala. But we want him also to come back to the base Mikdash Shamata. So how do we connect base Mikdash Shamala, base Mikdash Shamata? Right, that we should express the desire to come back from the place where it is the place where we wanted to return, having our face looking up and our eyes and our heart looking down. So there should be a connection. Lamala ulamata. Pimlo, like we said before, Echamos will connect base Kodesh Kodashim. We should focus on base Kodesh Kodashim. Is a base Kodesh Kodashim? Which base Kodesh Kodashim? So this follows, and it follows the previous corner. It could be. It would make actually more sense to have actually this this Gemara precede the previous Gemara. I wonder if something like Mashbiach actually says that. Hold on. No, he does not. But I see an interesting thing here in the from the Shtiam Nefesh that be feel okay to be Bani Yerushalayim nearly in Mekan Novin Divrei Rabbeinu B'chai Parshas Vayishlach Shmevi Shem Mora Sheomer Elokei David Bonei Yerushalayim. And the Rekanti brings down that Rabbi Yitzchak ben Harav also would say Baruch Hashem Baruch Hashem Elokei David Bonei Yerushalayim. When Abraham was there was such a chasim in Birkas HaMazon. Here we see that also tefillah there was those even under Rishonim to have that chasim on Shemona Esrei. Okay, to be Bnei Yerushalayim. But like I said, this seems to be much. This piece more seems to be much more Glatz, so to speak, if it was preceded the previous Gemara, so we knew what the issue was, what the Mal and Mata were. But nevertheless, wherever it is, basically it's Kachim. You direct your heart. Rabba, second Kachim Shamal. Maybe start making the Shamal, Bashim Machlad, base Kachim Shamaton. Rabbi Pinchas Loplikin, they don't argue, although there seems to be an argument as the emphasis, but there's no argument on the following. Base Kachim Shalmaton, Mechuva Connect, base Kachim Shalmalon. The Bay of Kachim down here is Mechuvan is in line, in sync with the base Kachim on high. Mechon L'Shiftecha, how we dash Mechon L'Shiftecha, Mechuvan Shiftecha. It's directed towards the place where you sit, Kabiyachal, in Shamayim. Har Moria. Well, with the base measures built Har Moria. Rabbi Chia Ruba, Rabbi Yana Charamashu Misham Ho Roy Yotzei Olam. But halacha goes out to the world. Charamashu Misham Hiro Yotzei Olam. From there, the Av HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes out to the world. So either one of those are good etymologies for derivations for Har Moria. The Horoya obviously goes from the Sanhedrin, sits there, and the Hira, well, that's what the purpose of Beis HaMikdash was. But Aron, interesting, that's also the word Aron now. From the Aron came Or to the world. So the Aron is not just the Aron as a closet. It's just a part of the from the Aron as a source of light, which is where the Luchos were kept. From there, curses go out to the world to the people who are not keeping the Torah. Divrei Rabbi Chia Rabbi Yanai, according to Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Yanai had their own understandings. This, I guess, is no. This is Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Yanai, the same people. Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Yanai, I skipped. Divrei, they're not Devir. They're not the Divrei. It's supposed to be Devir. The word we're dashing the word Devir. Rabbi Chia, Rabbi Yanai, Chadam Hashim Misham Davar Yotze Olam. From there, the Bnei Moshe's Gears is Dever. A plague goes out to the world when people are Mevaza Kodesh Baruch Hu. Chadam Hashim Misham Dibros Yotze Olam, and from there Dibros come out to the world. So the Dibros, the Bnei Moshe says Dibros, which were in the Dvir, which is another name for the Kodesh Kodashim. So again, a similar idea. Rabbi Chia Dever, Rabbi Chia says is it doesn't say who says what in either place. So presumably one had said that the previous one Arira Yotzam holds also Dever Yotzam. The one who said before that Ori Yotzam would say here that Dibros Yotzam. Hayoshim Esfina Ba'aslav, he was in a boat, raft, as we said before. Chavasibu base Kodesh Kodashim, direct your heart towards Kodesh Kodashim. He Astor, he Askara, he Rav Sudos. They're all the same thing. The Yem Lechor Rav Sudos, El Yam Yafo. And it's a pasuk which looks like Rav Sudos, and evidently all these words have the same connotation. Halachava. Rabbi Lesman Azar Mer ain't Tfilas Musafin. Ela b'chever ear. It has to be done in a chabura in the city, in a group, but there's no tefillah musaf b'yachid. You know, it doesn't have to be a group. Individuals can also daven musaf. Mer mishmo. It says in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Kol makom sheisham chever ear yachid padim b'tfilas musafin. Now he's have to be davened by the chever ear, in the chever ear, but any place where there is a chever ear and they're davening, the individual is parted from davening musaf. Says about Rabbi B'Shem Rabbi Chana Amar Halacha Rabbi Yisham Rishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Halacha Rabbi Yehuda, the name of Elazar ben Azariah. Milsa Shmuel Amar Kain. And from Shmuel saying we can infer this as well. The Shmuel Amar Anami Yamai Lo Tzalis the Musafa. I never done musaf. El Chadzman the Mis Bray the Reish Galusa. Only one time when the son of the Reish Galusa died. Lo Tzol Tibura, and the Tibur didn't get to go daven. B'tzalesi. And then I daven musaf. Evidently it was Rosh Chodesh, or something like that. And he daven musaf b'yachid because there's no chever ear davening. So it comes out according to the first opinion of Ben Azariah, only a chever ear can daven, not an individual. Rabbi Yehuda, and when there is a chaver, an individual doesn't daven, but where there's no chaver, an individual does daven. So clearly, Shmuel held like the second Rabbi Yehuda's interpretation of Rabbi Elazar Shita. Miyad Rabbanan Pligin. The words of the rabbis, following rabbis argue. The Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Shimon Chasida, Beroim uva kaitzonim. It's by shepherds and by people who are drying fruit. Masitz lomar beroim kaitzonim, but our mission doesn't say roim kaitzonim. So the Bavli writes, in fact, that Gamliel only pattered from most of the people in the fields, the roim and kaitzonim, but the people in the city, they would archive and musaf. But the Mishnah here that doesn't distinguish seems to hold that in a place of a chever ear, everybody's pater. That's what the Mashbiach says. So again, Rabbi Shimon Chasidim Beroy Kaitzonim. Only their pater, by the way, is chever ear. Hamasis Lamar Kaitzonim. Right? Our Mishnah doesn't say Beroy Kaitzonim. But the inference of Rabbi Shimon Chasida is that Sharko Dam Chayavin. Other people besides the rank outside people are out in the field. People have to daven. Rabbi Yochanan Markain. Rabbi Yochanan seems to say this. The Mari Yochanan, he reads this. Rabbi Yana Omein Mispal B'Shuk Shel Tziporin. I saw Rabbi Yana standing and davening in the Shuk Shel Tziporin. Mahalach Arba Amos, and after that was Shachris. Then he walked for Amos, evidently to distinguish between the tefillos. Mispal Shemusaf Daven Shemusaf. Vein Chever B'Tziporin. So is there no chever ear in Tzipori? So Rabbi Yanai must argue also in the Mishnah, because of course there was a chever ear in Tzipori, and nevertheless Rabbi Yanai would daven his own musaf. So at Shema Minot Klosa, learn from this three things. At Shema Shel Tziporin B'Tziporin, which is interesting language. So in other words, when you're so in Tzipori, this is much Biach explains it. When you're in Tzipori, you don't where there is a chever ear, then you can still daven by yourself. Is that what the Mashbiach actually says? So let's see. Okay, so Mashbiach actually writes like this: as he wasn't able to Yansha each Tziporin but Tziporin. He was a Tziporin person in Tziporin, but lo Am Shabbasolos, and he wasn't out in the fields. So he was, and it's like Rabbi Shimon Chasida, that lo who only pattered when the people who are out in the fields are concerning. And at Shmamina Chalukin al Rabbi Yehuda Shammai Shumei Elazar ben Azariah, and you hear that they argued on that Shita, because Shmuel said before, if there's a chever, you don't have to daven. Here we see even there was a chever, they did daven. You need to have a break for working for Amos in order to have Musaf, but then you could have Musaf. Our customs actually say Ashri before Musaf all the time to make a break between Shachos and Musaf, but at least for Amos. And Rabbi Amos also actually Arba Amos afilu shak de hilu Arba Amos. As long as you tarried enough time to walk Arba Amos, that already suffices.